let's start with what you have.
All right. Well, I will tell you what I have done with what you sent me.
Yeah.
And I hope we can move through this fairly pragmatically. So I used dice to pretend that the other players were choosing their cards.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up with 6 cards.
Yes.
And I also chose which card, or determined which card each player used, which of the 2 that they put forward. So
yes.
I will tell you the cards, all 6, and then I will tell you which 3 are placed kind of which of each pair was chosen first by the player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have the uncontrolled forest.
Yes.
And the animal men.
Yes.
We have the floating city and the robot assistants.
Yes.
And then for the third player, we have the dictator and the spiritual movement.
Yes.
Now, of the 3 that were chosen independently by each player, we have the animal men, we have the floating city, and we have the spiritual movement.
And when you say they were chosen by each player, so these were this will be the cards that will be active when played.
Correct.
Yeah.
These are.
But you actually do that when you go into phase 2, player number 2 shows one of his cards. Then so that's not a choice that you make in the beginning. It's
what do
made,
we do in phase
matter.
1 that we can do very quickly?
In phase 1, player 1 choose one of his cards to be played in phase 1. That's happened. But the other 2 phases, those 2 cards played by the other players are. You have to come to that phase when you decide to play that card. Okay. But the way you are describing it now, I have that up as an optional way of playing it. It's perfectly fine to do that, and it's probably much easier to do it that way.
I don't want to. I need. That sounds speculative to me. Let's stay with what we know. Okay. So So what we have are the 6 cards chosen 2 apiece by each of the 3 players.
Yeah.
The first player, just going by order that I have them on my sheet, is going to choose of the 2 that they have. Will choose animal men.
Yes. Yep. That's okay.
Quickly, because remember, what I want to do is get to the place where the characters are doing things in play. And I am terrified that we are going to spend days babbling about this elaborate setup that you have. Because you love your setup. You love your, I can tell, Ola, you love your setup. We will stay there forever and ever and never understand what happens quickly in this phase 1 so we can blow through it fast.
Yeah. Yes. I understand. So what you're saying is the layer that I call meta play, that is more about the setup and the story cards. That's not the important stuff right now.
It is deeply unimportant.
I'm much more interested in the things that you are that you have mentioned about the conflict resolution mechanism. Do you need anything more information on what's on the character sheet?
Well, I don't really quite get it, frankly.
No,
let's say that I am that player. Okay.
Yeah.
I am the player who has chosen the animal men.
Yeah.
When do I get to make up a character?
Yeah, that's before you play the card, actually. So
I'm looking at my 2 cards. I am looking at the
but you should actually have
forest and the animal men, and I have this blank sheet.
You should also have one more card. That is a sense of wonder card.
I know about the sense of wonder cards. I have one. Okay.
Yeah, you have one. Good.
All right. So I am an overgrown zoologist, and as I see it, if you care, overgrown means that my hair is so I'm cousin Kit, right? I am that hair. And then I'm a zoologist, which to me means I study humans.
All right. Yes.
Right?
Okay.
And
Yes.
I am good at reassuring. You have to reassure the animals, when you talk to them.
Yes.
And so I have the animal men have a problem. I understand it.
Yeah.
And it's related to the other one, which is something is terribly wrong with the forest.
Yeah. These things and these are these what you now told me is like the base, what you start out with on your character sheet.
Gotcha.
All those things.
Yes.
This is the base of your.
Perfect.
This is what you will refer to.
In that case, if we can imagine two other characters, one of which has drawn, we don't have to do this in detail.
No.
I suppose we could have, but if you can just keep in your mind and be responsible for these. That somebody made a character based on the floating city and the robot assistants.
Yes.
And you can also have somebody who made the character based on the dictator and the spiritual movement.
Yeah.
Much to my pleasure, these were done randomly. So I drew these cards and paired them randomly. So it's kind of fun that they come off so wonderfully obvious. I think that's always the case.
Yeah.
So I understand how much fun it is to do this, but just keep in your mind now what the other two characters are like and just have them in your head for my purposes. So in that case, without explaining it to me very much and making certain assumptions when you have to, let's say a player had a choice to do something and that changed something on their sheet. Just go ahead and put it in your mind that they did it and don't explain it to me. Okay? So just have that there. Now, once we have begun to play, now let's say it's phase 1 and I am the first player and I'm going to put forward my Animal Man card.
Yeah.
Okay? So are we playing now?
Yeah, we're playing. But that's still on the meta level. What will happen? I will go really. What will happen is that I, as a game master, if I play, I will see, aha, the Animal Men is this is where they want to start the story, and I know your relation to the Animal Men, and since Animal Men is played in the first phase, I will follow a quick procedure and turn that into the rabbit hole or the entrance to the story. So all of you 3 characters will be confronted by an NPC that is part of the Animal Men, and they will
let us be a little bit efficient.
Yeah.
And I understand that in many cases the characters will begin in different locations, fictional.
Yeah.
But in this particular case, let us say that this is not going to happen. We are going to be all in the same spot right now.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think that's usually always the case.
Oh, and in that case, take me down the rabbit hole immediately, not into play, but into a situation where we are in trouble.
Yeah. The thing, what I would need also, because in this setup, we also, before we choose cards and before that, you say the 70s SF premise.
Yes.
You
are going backwards again. You keep trying to go back to the light. Turn away from the light, right? Don't go toward the light.
The reason I'm going there is that will affect what I'm, the kind of situation.
But that's the sort of thing you just note in your head. I want to know, where is my character, and I don't care who said what in play so far.
Yeah.
So I know you are not making all this up as the game master. I know that we have all been role-playing and said things and stuff like that. But pretend all that has happened. Make it up in your head what we did. Tell us the situation where the 3 of us are in trouble.
Yes. In that way, I will describe a situation that is typical to phase 1. And that you get a kind of an assignment from someone, and then someone else comes up and says, I want you to work for me instead. That is kind of a dilemma. Or they can just threaten
I'm not
them
interested in those kinds of dilemmas. I want to get all past that.
Yeah.
I want to go past the point where the characters have gone around and around, and I want to know the three of us are in some kind of dire trouble. It's not a dilemma of whether we go left or right.
Okay.
I want
so
them in dire trouble, 3 or 4, a little ways down, further in play.
Yeah. Yeah.
And we have probably been partly responsible for it ourselves through our decisions. Fine. Go ahead and just assume that and give me an example. Or tell me.
Yeah.
My hairy zoologist and 2 other characters who I am sort of imagining are going to be in some sort of trouble altogether. What is
it? You are confronted by someone potentially hindering you from starting to search for whatever you're searching for.
Too vague. Who is the someone, and what are we looking for, and what is the situation we are in? Make it up.
Okay, you are. I have to remember all the cards, because I as a game master in this case, I would look at the cards.
You have the forest, you have the floating city and the robot assistants, you have the dictator and the spiritual movement. You can pick some sort of interesting antagonist from any of that. So go ahead.
And I would probably then put up. I mean, since the first choice of yours are pretty much centered around like living things, then I would put up robots attacking you in some way.
The robot assistants are preventing us from getting somewhere important. But what does the location look like? Are we on a circular platform over empty space with lights beneath us, or are we?
No, you're in a generation ship, a kind of Rama-like, this inside of that.
And we are racing. I suppose let's make it more of an action situation.
Yeah.
We are racing to recover the seed baby that the forest was stolen from the forest, right?
Yes.
Okay, and who knows? Maybe the spiritual movement has been dreaming of the seed baby's birth or some shit like that.
Yeah.
Right.
And so what's basically happening is that there's a massive amount of robots organizing and preventing you from entering the uncontrolled forest.
Preventing us from entering is horrifically boring.
Okay.
I do not want to talk to the guards. Fuck the guards. I don't want to talk to them. I don't want to sneak past guards.
Okay.
I hate all that shit. What are the robots trying to do? I suggest they're trying to catch us and dissect our brains.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So you want that, like the sincere action part.
If I ever see in any game somebody giving me an example of sneaking past the guards, I'm going to roll up that book with my bare hands, and I'm going to attempt to stick it in one ear so it comes out the other.
Because sneaking across the guards are not. It's too boring.
It is horrible. It is worse than boring. It is the death of play.
So you want like immediate action as quick as possible?
No, I'm not talking about what kind of play I like. I'm talking about what we need to know how to resolve in your game.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, but I understand. So let's take that. They're trying to dissect your brain and whatever. I would prefer not to say why that they want to dissect your brain, but they want to catch you and hurt you.
They have surgical instruments.
Yes, they do.
How is this conducted?
Yeah, I present the threat as a game master and say they are placed in this. Now they're doing this. Unless you do something, shit will happen.
Right.